What's good, y'all? Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to another episode of ShookFocuz. And in this one, we got a new tech check. Now, these articles were actually written a little less than a year ago. They came out in November of 2022, but nonetheless, we haven't talked about them yet. And I find this story here just extremely fascinating and weird and strange and interesting and hypey and scary and all of those feelings all at the same time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this. Now, we got two articles here. We got this Forbes article and we got this other article by ARS Technica. And so we're going to bounce through. We're actually going to read through both of these because they provide like slightly different perspective, and each has a few different details in it. Now, the gist of the stories with the way that these articles are written are the same. But again, there's some slight details that you get with each different one that makes them, maybe worth the read. And of course, I'll link these articles in the description of the video so you can go through and read it for yourself. But we're gonna go ahead and start with this this Forbes article here. Oculus founder claims to make VR headset that will actually kill you if you die in a game. That's right. So my anime Sword Art Online fans, this bad boy is for you. Let's get right to it, man. No, this is not a headline that reflects Mark Zuckerberg fully losing his mind to the pursuit of the metaverse. Rather, we are talking about Palmer Luckey, the original founder of Oculus VR, who sold his company to Facebook and has been mainly working on national defense tech ever since his departure. It's such a government or military thing to do. The crazy person over there, building crazy stuff. We want you. And of course, the reference to Zuckerberg was because the Oculus VR was sold to Facebook, which is now the parent company. So if you're rocking with Oculus, you're rocking with Facebook, just FYI. While he's had nothing to do with Zuckerberg's flailing metaverse ambitions as of late, that does not mean he isn't still doing weird, and in this case, truly insane things with VR all the same. Luckey has now made a custom VR headset that he claims will kill a player if they die in a video game. Like, literally, it will kill you. Describing the headset in his blog, Luckey details how he says he made a Sword Art Online style, you die in the game, you die in real life headset. In that series, players are trapped in a giant, immersive VR combat simulation where if they die in the game, it will kill them for real, given that they are laced into nerve gear tech, and they must figure out a way to win or escape. Luckey's version of this concept is a VR headset that is laced with charges that will explode, destroying the brain of the user if they trigger an appropriate game over screen. So this right here is an image of the main character from Sword Art Online wearing his nerve gear tech headset. And of course, the way that this went is this brand new game came out and all these kids wanted to go play the game in VR, and they didn't necessarily understand that there were actually real life risks to it. So they all went in, and then once they got in there, the game creator was basically like, hey, if you don't want to die, you got to beat the game, figure out how to escape. So Luckey laments that he's only halfway to designing true nerve gear, the Sword Art Online tech. The good news is that we are halfway to making true nerve gear. The bad news is that so far I have only figured out the half that kills you. Like, what? The perfect VR half of the equation is still many years out. So that's the bad that's the bad news. I really feel like this is kind of flipped on his head here. I feel like it'd be great news if we didn't know how to kill people with a headset yet. I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Of course, I will link both of these articles in the comment or in the description of the video. Feel free to leave your comments. Luckey revealed the deadly headset on November 6th, where November 6th, 2022 is the day the first nerve gear set was activated in Sword Art Online. No coincidence, clearly. So he made the release of his headset match the November 6th date of Sword Art Online players going into the game. No one is actually playing games on the thing, on the headset. Lucky has not even tried the headset on himself. Interesting. Lest some sort of miscalculation on his part accidentally kill him. Game over screen or not. I don't want it to accidentally kill me. Lucky just describes it as a piece of office art and claims that it's the only VR headset in existence that can kill the user. Which I have to believe is true unless a real-life jigsaw killer is out there designing one for his latest trap to teach some addicted gamer a lesson. That's wild to me. So he's working for national defense now. They know he builds headsets that murder people. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me. Murderous video games are a long time pursuit for Lucky, who talked about this over a year ago. So this is a tweet from Palmer Lucky back in 2021. The concept of video games with physical consequences as severe as death are a sci-fi staple, but seen as beyond the pale in real life. Given the popularity of motorsports, extreme athletics, and etc., why? So basically comparing this to like motorsport. Hey, if you're going to get on a dirt bike and do crazy motorsport stuff, right, you might be willing to put on a headset and possibly die, I guess is a comparison. Now, y'all let me know what y'all think about that. I'll drop what I have to say about that when we get through this article. It's also notable that Lucky claims to have built weaponized gaming tech like this, given his jump from VR to founding Anduril Industries, his company which makes AI-based surveillance and defense systems for the U.S. military. They recently landed a $1 billion contract to lead counter-unmanned systems to work for the United States Special Operations Command. This is wild. Given that VR tech is still trying to break past a niche to get people to want to play games that are actually fun, kind of true, VR adoption has not really taken off like it has been expected to yet, but we'll see what comes. The idea that we are barreling towards some sort of sword art dystopia where users are signing up to play games that have the potential to kill you does not seem plausible. Even Sword Art Online had to trick its players into being trapped with nerve gear. It's not like they were going around selling VR headsets with murder potential written up as a feature. So basically saying, hey, this might possibly be a feature, but right, the kids in the anime had to be tricked into putting it on. They didn't know that. As ever, Palmer Lucky is something else. I look forward to him hosting his first Bloodsport tournament on a private island or whatever weird thing that emerges next from his brain. So basically saying when this thing gets ready to go into full swing, he's thinking that he might do something like that. Now that's from the writer here, Paul Tassi, and I just I don't know, I found that interesting. So this article right here, man, the next article, so this one basically Forbes just kind of gives you the information. This next article, I think, raises some of those more ethical question concepts. So that's the reason why we're going to do both of them. Sorry, this thing is vibrating like crazy. Let me mute this phone or something here. Alright, there we go. See if that do it. But yeah, man, that's what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? Yeah. Let's move on. As far as my bad, for the motorsport thing, I'm a little indifferent. Excuse me, when it comes to the motorsports, but I mean, when you're doing motorsport, it's not like directly going to explode your brain. If you explode your brain, you are dead, right? Motorsport, you could fall, break an arm, break a leg, a foot, paralyze yourself, right? But typically there's not anything aimed directly at your brain in motorsport, right? So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. But let's go ahead and get through this last article here. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, if you're still here, go ahead, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We generally talk crypto here, but y'all know I love tech, so we're going to talk a little bit about this tech. From ARS Technica, written by Kyle Orland, 11/7/2022. Again, these articles are both old. They're older. They're from last year. But what we are interested in here is the tech. So as we go through this, you'll see the slight differences. Now, this article is fairly short too. That's why I kind of figured we could do both of them. But you'll see some of those details that are slightly different in reading through this article, right? The idea that dying in a video game or a simulation could cause your own death in real life is a common trope that has appeared in dozens of fictional works in recent decades. Now, though, Oculus co-founder Palmer Luckey has made the concept real. On his personal blog, Luckey writes of a new VR headset he has designed that uses 3 embedded explosive charges. So there we already have a small difference, right? The last article from Forbes was just like, yeah, it'll explode your brain. This one's like, there's 3 explosive charges. So a little more detail. And if we look at the headset, right, we can kind of see that. So these charges are, yes, planted above the forehead. So again, probably that there, somewhere in there, that can instantly destroy the brain of the user. The lethal explosion is triggered via a narrow band photosensor that can detect when the game screen flashes red at a specific frequency, Luckey writes, making it easy to set off during a game over screen. So basically saying it was easy to program it based on, this red frequency. So that's something to where like that frequency talk is if you are gaming, if you play like Call of Duty or something like that and you get shot, your screen starts blinking red, right? And then as you get closer and closer to death, and then eventually you flatline and fall over or something. That's essentially what this is saying. Like in the game, right, as you start basically getting ready to flatline here, you'll end up dying in real life as the screen pulses red, faster and faster. To be clear, Luckey says his deadly headset, which looks in images like a modified Meta Quest Pro, is at this point just a piece of office art, a thought-provoking reminder of unexplored avenues in game design. At the same time, though, Luckey writes that the idea of tying your real life to your virtual avatar has always fascinated me. You instantly raise the stakes to the maximum level and force people to fundamentally rethink how they interact with the virtual world and the players inside it. That's nuts. Wow. Luckey ties this fascination to Sword Art Online, a series of Japanese novels, right, and spin-off anime about a virtual reality MMORPG with the same name. In that fiction, November 6, 2022, marks the day when thousands of Sword Art Online players are trapped in their Nerve Gear headsets and threatened with death via a hidden microwave generator if they die in the game or if they try to remove or tamper with the headset. So try to take that bad boy off, kaboom. The Sword Art Online anime was just airing when the first Oculus Rift development kit launched on Kickstarter back in 2012. Helping to drive what Luckey calls massive otaku enthusiasm for Oculus, especially in Japan, which quickly became our second largest market, he says that literally thousands of fans have reached out to him over the year about Sword Art Online, asking, when will you make the Nerve Gear headset real? So you see over in this, and this is again some of the differences between the two articles where you can get a couple different details and a couple different perspectives. Over in Forbes, it basically is like, that's crazy talk, anybody doing that? Where are we at here? Yeah, here we go, right here. Right, so it's basically saying, hey, we're nowhere close to this, right? This doesn't sound plausible. Nobody's really that interested in it. But psych, according to this one, Luckey's already been getting questions about it from folks in Japan. So interesting. Now this right here is probably the most interesting part of an article where you get this article anyway, where you get into some of that sort of those ethical questions and, you know, comparative questions, which I always find interesting. That like technology ethics is one of the most interesting topics to me, which is kind of why I felt like doing this video. But a history of consequences. More than realistic graphics, Lucky writes that only the threat of serious consequences can make a game feel real to you. He likens such consequences to a long history of real-world sports revolving around similar stakes. Though it's important to remember that most sports injuries fall well short of instant death. This is true, right? You got like skateboarding where you're going off different ramps and, you know, you're grinding and doing it right. You fall, you bust yourself up, but usually there's nothing that directly is made to directly explode your brain. But while Lucky writes that this is an area of video game mechanics that has never been explored, that's not strictly true. Back in 2001, the Payne Station art installation threatened players who lost the game of Pong with sensations such as heat, punches, and electroshocks of varying duration. As Wired described it, that same year, the Tekken Torture Tournament provided a fighting game competition in which 32 willing participants received bracing but non-lethal electric shocks in correspondence to the injuries sustained by their on-screen avatars. Interesting. I think I remember something about that, but there may be an article for another day. We'll see. But that was older, though. That was definitely, I think it's 2001. Yeah. And so, yeah, these are those players. They're playing Tekken here, right? And they've got these armbands on, right? That'll give them pain if they get hit. So let's keep rolling here. On the other end of the simulated pain equation, last year the Food and Drug Administration approved a virtual reality pain management system that uses established principles of behavioral therapy intended to address the physiological symptoms of pain and aid in pain relief through a skills-based treatment program. Now, why in the world is the FDA? I digress. In any case, Lucky cites a very huge variety of failures that could occur and kill the user at the wrong time, explaining why he has not worked up the balls to actually use it yet. His deadly new headset. Still, the project shows that Lucky still harbors a deep interest in virtual reality more than 5 years after he was fired by Oculus parent company Facebook amid controversy over political donations. So again, this is another detail here, right? This article is telling us that he was fired by Facebook, but again, over here, Forbes just describes it as his departure, as if he left on friendly terms or something. So this is kind of those different perspectives that you get. This is why I always try to check multiple sources on things, and just try to get more perspective and just interpret it in a different way, which again, like I said, is what I hope you do with any of my videos. I hope you go look at the stuff, and that's why I always provide links for you to go read it and interpret it for yourself without me involved. In the years since, Lucky's professional life has been largely focused on his military tech startup, Anduril. In an April personal blog post, though, he wrote that the year of the 10th anniversary of Oculus's founding was the right time to finally unveil some VR technologies I haven't, been able to talk about for a variety of reasons. We're guessing this deadly headset wasn't what he meant by that, but it's hard to know for sure. And so that's the last article there. So again, this is here's a picture of Lucky. So John Carmack poses with Oculus founder Palmer Luckey in the center, and other members of the Oculus team. So again, Lucky is now working on national defense projects. So from killer headsets to national defense. And so this part right here was kind of where my questions came in. So we're going to go ahead and end this thing with a question. Do you feel that a headset embedded with explosive charges that are triggered if you die in a video game is equivalent to participating in extreme sports such as like motocross, skateboarding, any of the X Games, if you will, or even something as simple as gaming with armbands that deliver, pulsated shocks when you get hit, or even laser tag? You know what my answer is.
No. Mm-mm. No. Hell no. No. I refuse. No.
Hear that music?
Still French.